First up is my youngest son. He is 5'1". The seat post is in the lowest possible setting. As you can see, he has good leg extension. The bike is a good size for him. It does not look too big. So fairly satisfied with someone at this size riding this bike. Next up is my oldest son. He is 5'10". The seat post is raised 4 inches. I am also 5'10", and it fits me perfectly fine. There's plenty of seat post left for taller riders. Next up is a kickstand demonstration by my youngest son. As you can see, he has no issues with using the kickstand. Next, we'll look at the output of the headlights. As you can see, it was a fairly dark evening with a single street light on. I would say that the beam pattern for these headlights are adequate for street use around the neighborhood. There's adequate throw in terms of distance and illuminates the area right in front of the bike fairly well.
So today I'm just going to take a quick ride through the neighborhood. This is my first time on the e-bike for an extended period of time. So let's get started. First, some background. I've been mountain biking for the last 20 years, let's say. Both of my boys have been biking. They started around 4 or 5, and they've been mountain biking with me since then. They're 11 and 14 now. So this is a very unique experience for me. The mountain bike that I have is an Ibis Mojo 4, considered like an all-mountain trail bike. Fairly aggressive, especially compared to a bike like this. So my impressions will be based off of my experience mountain biking. So clearly this e-bike is meant for the street and pavement, and that's where this will be. This is clearly not a mountain bike by any means. I don't think anyone's going to be fooled by that. But from a seating position perspective, very, very comfortable compared to my mountain bike. You do sit much more upright, which is very comfortable in my mind. Normally when first off, we're going to take a ride here onto a little packed dirt trail, and we'll see how this performs. So this bike is pretty efficient. It gets up to speed very quickly. Handling so far on the dirt is very good. These do come with some pretty decent Schwalbe tires, so that always helps. Yeah, the handling on this bike so far feels very stable. I think in part that's because the weight of this bike is relatively low at around 54, 55 pounds compared to some of the heavier bikes. But the wheel size, everything seems to be very secure. There's no issues around that. On the dirt, performs just fine, as I would expect. And this is all hard packed dirt. So normally when I go mountain biking, I wear padded shorts. Today, I specifically chose not to wear those padded shorts because I wanted to test out the comfort of the seat. And just going through some of the undulations and bumps and transitions back there between the concrete and the dirt. The seat is actually very comfortable. It's a nice day out. A lot of people are out. Yeah, so the seat is very comfortable, very, very comfortable. This is something that I can easily ride and get used to without having to get all geared up for my typical mountain biking rides. This has a Suntour 70mm front suspension fork. I would say the best that got to manage our roundabouts here. So I would say this, you know, the Suntour fork on this is not meant to be comparable to any real, let's say, suspension fork. I'm coming from a Fox Factory 34 on my Ibis, and it's just completely different. And the intent wasn't to be comparable by any means, but from those bumps back there, I could definitely say the front of the bike had much more compliance, and it does smooth out some of those minor bumps like that. So I think that's probably about all it's good for. What I'm really feeling more is the fact that it does not have a rear suspension, but like I said before, the seat is very comfortable. I'm not feeling any discomfort by not having a rear suspension. It just makes the ride a little bit rougher. But then again, coming from my mountain bike, it's pretty plush in the bumps. But everything is checking out to be fine. What I'm noticing is that on a normal basis here, power assist provided is more than adequate. No comment. So I'm on pedal assist 1. It's effortless. I'm in the tallest gear in the back. This is a 42 tooth front chainring, and even right now at 15 miles per hour, I'm more or less spinning out, meaning whatever I'm pedaling, I'm not going much faster. So I think one of the things for, you know, maybe more for adults or more experienced riders, if you want a little bit more of the top end range, I would consider changing out the front gear ring to something smaller than its current 42. I'm running a 30 on my Ibis, which is perfect for that particular gearing setup. But for this, at least for me, I'm topping out very quickly. But since this bike is intended for my 11-year-old son, I think this is perfect. He's been on a few rides, probably put on about 20-25 miles on this already. No complaints about the gearing. And one thing to note here is that because right now, so I'm at 15 and I'm ghost pedaling right now, it does give me some comfort for him that there's no throttle to this. He won't be able to get much more than 20 miles per hour if he tried, which I think you can if you really crank on the pedaling. But like I told him before, when we go out on our rides, very rarely can we sustain speeds of greater than 15, certainly no more than 20 in small short bursts. So having an e-bike with a throttle that can do 20, 25, 28, miles per hour is a little bit daunting and concerning from a parent perspective. This, I would be fully confident and satisfied and assured that the bike itself is not going to be more than what he can handle. And you can see here around our streets, there's really no need for anything faster. Alright, just had to get around some people. We'll get back into the bike lane since the sidewalk's getting a little bit crowded. So yeah, so I think from a kid perspective, this is great. Very pleased with the purchase. I just think for adults, there's probably a little bit more to be desired. I would have expected that I could get close to 20 on a regular ride here, but even pushing it a little bit more, I'm getting up to about 16 and a half. And maybe changing the front gearing will help generally around that. So that's something I have to look into. Now, from a seating position perspective, I am 5'10", and this is very comfortable for me. Handlebars are in a good height. The limit or the range of riders on this is 5 feet to 6'3". And I think if you're start to get to the six feet and above, you'll need to make some adjustments to the handlebars, which you do have some adjustment here with this type of stem. Just had to get through another round. Like I was mentioning, I think once you get up above 6 feet, you'll have to make some adjustments. You do have some with this particular stem. If not, there's probably other options that you can do, but I would certainly try to find one of these to at least sit on or test ride if you're above 6 feet. Something to note. These grips are fantastic. They have these wing features to it, which makes it very, very comfortable. I actually might consider getting something similar like this for my mountain bike, since I'm running OD grips on my mountain bike and they're great for what it is, but I do get some numbness every now and then. But these grips are fantastic. Really like those. So I think in general, I mean, at this particular price point, I was able to use some leftover rebate from my membership. This also is eligible for the member reward. So I think I earned, this was $1,500, earned $150. I could apply to something else next year. So I think when you couple all of that, you get REI's service and warranty and backing behind all of this. This makes it a pretty no-brainer purchase. Purchase process was very seamless as expected from REI. Ordered this online, and within a week or so, got an email, said the bike was ready, came down. Bike was fully assembled, prepped, ready to go. waiting for us, and probably about 10 minutes later I was walking out the store with a fully assembled e-bike. So it's nice to have a shop close by where you can address any sort of issues with. I do a lot of work on my own bike, so I wasn't as concerned, but you know, with anything new, especially with like e-bikes, you just don't know what could fail, and having that service and that shop nearby it just gives you added reassurance and peace of mind. So once we get a little bit further along here, I'll do a quick test on the brakes, and I'll show you, let's see how these hydraulic brakes compares. Yeah, overall riding impressions, I think for the adult casual rider, this is very good value. I think if I was looking for an e-bike myself, as more of a from a more let's say permanent kind of solution, then I would look for something a little bit different. Yeah, for certainly something with a little bit more range in terms of gearing, maybe a little bit of a larger bike, just for extended comfort. But for the casual running around the city, leisurely ride, this is perfect. Far less effort than my ride yesterday on my mountain bike, which I think for the e-bikes, that's the intended purpose, is to give people some assistance and some options for a leisurely jaunt around town. Alright, so we'll get up to speed here a little bit. So 16 miles per hour right now, and the pedal assist cuts off. Roughly, I can't feel it anymore, and I am ghost riding right now. I'm spinning, but it's not doing anything. So any speed here that you see right now is just from gravity. But the brake levers work fantastic. We'll try them out right here. Yep, see, that's the benefit of hydraulics. I basically, if you heard that screech, I locked up the rear. That's how strong and powerful hydraulic brakes are. So I'm very happy with these particular brakes. Just make sure when you get the bike, you bed in the pads appropriately. If you're not sure what that means, just you know, YouTube is your friend. But you're basically doing a couple of controlled stops to seat the pads and whatnot. So that is always helpful. But these brakes are fantastic, much better than any mechanical brakes can do. So yeah, I think that is everything. Hope you guys enjoy. Take care.